Hello, we are back. I wanted to give an update at the start as to why there's been no progress, and realistically, there's a bit of bad news. But why I'm actually posting this video is because there is, I suppose, so many people that are following this channel and this build at the minute that may have come into or done this kind of conversion before. So I want to pick your brains. I'm going to tell you what my problem is, and hopefully one of you might have the solution for me. So let's grab a seat. Okay, right. So I'm going to recap a little bit. I'm just going to go from start to finish as to, I suppose, where we are right now with the car and what the problem is. And there really is a problem, and it's a disaster. It's not just a clickbait thing or anything like that. I suppose very first thing is the channel just hit 1,000 subscribers, which is unbelievable, and I'm so grateful and thankful. Just to know that there's 1,000 people that are interested in what I'm doing, and I don't know, I'm fooling around. I don't know what I'm doing really, and to know that there's 1,000 people that are interested in sitting down and maybe watching a bit is mind blowing. So thank you very much to the all 1,000 of ye. So this car, right? This is an Irish, it's actually not a GT, it's a completely Irish standard Toyota Starlet. It's a 1994. Would have came with a 1.3 2EE engine. And yeah, very briefly, got the car. It was actually going to scrappers. I got it off a mate of mine. Ended up doing a bit of work on that 2E engine and kind of refreshing it, and just to learn, like I've always been tooling around and stuff, but just to kind of do a bit with actually engine out and that kind of stuff, and fine, that was done, that was all finished and looking grand. And then I had an idea that I wanted to maybe try and turbo it, and I thought the easier way of going about it would be to grab a 4E engine and just slap a turbo on it and see does it work. Got that engine, and before I had anything done with it, I came across a 4E FTE, which is the turbo GT or Glenza engine, that had spun a bearing, and I was like, you know what, I'll get that. So got the, I suppose, damaged engine, rebuilt it. I'll throw up a couple of pictures here of the engine and all that. Went into a nice bit of detail with the cleaning of it, vapor blasted all the aluminium bits, all new seals, new bearings, everything was redone. And then decided to go down the route of doing like a full GT conversion, and we're at this point here. So even though it kind of looks not super, there's a nice bit of work done to it. Most of it is underneath the car. The whole thing was stripped, Raptor liner, did everything. All the suspension components were taken off and sandblasted and painted up. BC Racing coilovers in it, blah blah blah. You've probably all seen that in some of the other videos. But I came to a point where I suppose wiring was the next step, and here is where the problem lies. Some of you that are watching some of the previous videos will know that I sent out my wiring loom to EP Wiring, so to Stephen O'Hare in Scotland, I believe. Class, like the problem isn't with him. He's an absolute legend, a gentleman. He did such a good job on the wiring loom. But he had it for a while, that was grand. Did the work to it and then posted it back to me. So the first thing was, when the wire and loom came back into Ireland, customs seized the package and held on to it for months. Didn't know whether I was going to get it back or not. And we did everything right. Like, I paid customs even though the product was actually mine. He just did work to it, but it doesn't matter. We did it that way. And I eventually got the wire and loom back. I opened up the box, and fairly much what Stephen had done was he had taken, I had sent him out the standard loom for this car, so the 2E loom, the engine loom, and I had also picked up a turbo loom. So I sent him the two of those, explained to him what I was kind of doing here. So then fairly much he amalgamated the two of them in together, and the problem that I have isn't with Stephen's job at all. I couldn't recommend him more. The problem was with me because I'm a fucking idiot, right? My wire loom was gone. It's gone. So what happened was, as some of you probably know, we had just bought a house and this shed was part of the house. So all of my belongings were kind of stored in 2 or 3 different places, and I had kept the box with the wire and loom. I never even took it out of the box. It was beautiful looking. I looked at it, closed it up and said, I'm going to keep it here in this house and keep it safe. Whatever kind of nonsense, whatever we did, I probably thrown it away. So it was thrown away, right? So it's gone. I was waiting. That's why there's been nothing done to this, just to see, will it turn up? You know, maybe it's just put somewhere now that I've forgotten about, but it's gone. It's completely gone. I also had my turbo ECU in that box as well. That's gone. Now that's not the end of the world because I have a spare one. But I'll just show you some of the bits. I'll open up the bonnet, right? So the lighting probably isn't super, but just to explain why it's a bit of a balls and what Stephen had done for me. And if you have a project like this and you're thinking of going down that route, Stephen is the man to go to. So EP Wiring, I'll link his website below. So, yeah, lighting isn't super. Fairly much. What I asked Stephen to do was take the engine loom for this turbo engine, but allow it to be tied into my, I suppose, the external fuse box here. And then as well, I utilised the alternator and the starter from the old engine because I had them, to not be going away getting those bits. I know that that's not like, they're not crazy money or anything, but use what I have. Let's make all of this work. And then inside in the car, let's see, can I show you this? My main problem was in fact this little box here. So I can't really show you. What was happening was the turbo loom was plugging into everything except for one of those plugs underneath that dashboard. It was just a different plug. Now, even though everything was plugging into all the slots, what Stephen had done was, I suppose, confirm every pin was going to every wire that it should have been going to. So he had to swap all that around. Like, he did a massive amount of work, and I'm disgusted that I never got to mess properly with what he had done. So that's my problem. That's why this car has just been sitting here. The loom was gone, and it was just kind of, I suppose, a kick in the teeth. You know, like, he had done so much work to it. I had even done a bit of work. So obviously we had rerouted the battery. I made up all the cables. I got a battery relocation kit from DZR Wire. So the battery now lives in the boot. That was all done. Everything is beautiful. Our negative cable here, positive going to a fuse, and then that's ran underneath all the interior and going to the back to the front of the car. So what Stephen had also done was he had customized my loom to be able to plug into this unit here. How do I open that again? It's been too long. I can't get it open with one hand, but fairly much this wire coming in is power from the battery. So then he had customized my loom to be able to go on here, and then this lead goes to the starter. But that's gone. So I was in my own head saying, is this the end of it? Like, am I going to do anything more? Do I just forget about it? And I don't know. You know when you're kind of at the point where it's just like, oh, you know, do I even want to kind of continue on, or how do I fix it? But what I would like your help with, I suppose, is if anyone has done this conversion, what is my best way out of this, right? Like, is there any wiring loom, be it a GT loom or a Glanza loom? I don't mind buying another one. I'll have to buy another one. I would have ideally liked it to have been the EP wiring one, because he had done checks on it. He made sure everything was sound, any broken connectors. Like, the thing, it was a brand new wiring loom. Like, the work he did in it was just so good. Like, and look, it doesn't matter, it's gone. But what do I do? I kind of need your help on this one. If anyone has done this kind of thing before, like, do I Do I go away and get a GT loom? Do I get a Glanza loom? Will I have to get an interior loom as well? What's my way around this? Like, I think in the future, well, I know in the future I'm going to be going back to EP Iron. I'm going to get another fully custom loom built. But I just don't want to, this car hasn't ran for me. So I would like to get it to a state where if the iron loom looks not as great as the rest of the car, so be it. Let's get the thing running. Let's make sure the engine is healthy. Let's make sure everything is going right. Fine tune it a bit, and then we'll say, right, let's get the iron loom now. Let's do this and have it 100%. But yeah, what the hell do I do? It's a balls, but these things happen. There's no one to blame, only myself. I had left the iron loom in my home house. So where this car originally was in the old shed, it was in there. But I didn't even bring the loom into the shed out of just wanting to be super safe. But what more than likely happened is we had all our stuff kind of in a corner. And I reckon when we were going through and saying, we don't need some of this stuff, that box was probably thrown in with the stuff that we didn't need, and it's gone. So that's old news now. But I really want to get this thing going. I really, really, really want to just have this running. Like, I have the Corolla now as well, and I've been driving that a nice bit. And it's class. It's absolutely sick. But there's so much work gone into this. Like, I'm at the point in it now where even though that loom is gone, I've too much invested into it. Not even money-wise, but time to not see it through. So that's fairly much where I am. I'd love just to see a couple of comments. If one or two people just say, look, this is what I did and it seemed to work out fine, I'd love to hear what you have. I'll also link my YouTube or my Instagram page down below. So if anyone wants to give me a message on that, and we'll just try and get this thing running. So that's my update. That's why the car we haven't done anything to it. Obviously we were moving house and all that, but just that's the reason. Everything is ready to go. Everything is ready to go. There's one little bit for a fuel line, the return line, so I need to convert my standard hard line return to an AN line. I just need to get a fitting. Like, that fitting is going to cost a tenner, and because of the iron loom, I was just like, I just can't even spend the tenner on it, but I'll do it. So I'm going to drop the video there. I know this wasn't a big thing at all. I just wanted to explain what was going on and pick some people's brains. So yeah, I hope to see some comments, and hopefully we'll get this thing going very, very soon. Peace out, and thank you.